One of the biggest lessons I learned creating products is to dial back the expectations, not of just your customers, but of yourself, of your team, of your product, of your abilities.
Throughout the journey, the number one lesson that I learned is actually saying no to freelance gigs, even in a tough economy. This helped me a lot to stay focused solely on my business.
It's really important to scale the size of the team together with the size of your customer base.
Customer service is the absolute amazing differentiator that people just don't put enough effort into.
GPL wins.
Not be afraid to delegate tasks.
I was going to say courage, but courage is the wrong word.
Number one thing we've learned during these years in business is that people are your most important asset.
You're not really building a product, but you're building a team. So it's really important to hire the right people. This takes time, this takes a certain amount of luck, and you just have to work really hard at it.
It's being prepared to fail. When it comes to starting a business, running a business, you need to be ready to try things that are going to go wrong. But you need to give them a go, and a proper crack at them to find out if they're going to work, if they're going to go wrong, what's going to happen.
When you have a proper mission and a vision, you can do a whole lot more than trying to grasp at some bits and pieces that are flying around. So find your mission and focus and just execute.
In my opinion, the difference between a successful plugin business and a mediocre or unsuccessful one is just being able to serve your customers and really understand what needs they have. The fact that we were willing to put in customer service early on with the plugin was really an amazing differentiator and a competitive advantage both. That didn't really, I didn't really understand that until I had been doing it for about a year and saw that so few other WordPress businesses actually did what I was doing there.
You always need to be curious and always asking yourself the right questions. So you always have to push for this truth, like what else should I be doing? What other features should I be working on? So this curiosity really has to be a driving force and not necessarily the money you're going to make in the end. Sometimes you really have to pick up the phone and call people, do interviews, and you should never stop reaching out to your users. It's often easier said than done.
What happened to us is that we spent a lot of resources into growing our user base and customers base while we didn't invest enough into growing the team. And what happened to us is we found ourselves with a lot of customers and not enough team members. So now we need to invest a lot of resources into hiring, which is something that we should have probably done a little bit earlier.
You need to be in a position where you can completely trust your team, and fortunately, I'm able to do that with Iconic.
The idea of creating a query builder to display content in various forms with various types of content wasn't a challenge that I particularly predicted or was ready for. The less features you have, the less overhead that you have supporting that. And it's not just in the code that you're writing, but it's in the users that you're selling to. You have to be ready for people using this in edge cases and use cases that you've not even thought of. These are delicate balances, but I've learned that you can wrangle all this stuff in by not shipping as much. You know, you can have all the other features in the back burner, but that doesn't mean you should just dump them all into a product. Supporting that is a whole different animal. How your customer engages with it is totally different than how you expected, and you have to be ready for that stuff.
Our first WordPress teams were all failed, rejected one after the other by Team Forest. But finally, in July 2013, we submitted Jupyter WordPress team to Team Forest, and it was booming. So never give up.
It's one thing to say, oh yeah, I'm good for failure. I'm happy to give things a crack. It's another thing to actually say, yeah, I really stuffed up there and that didn't work out. But that's okay because these things happen. Okay, how do we move on from there? Yeah, that's a lesson from my company.